Hi everyone, this is Penny from Wacko Witch Astrology. First of all, thank you for being here with me today, and I'm so happy that people have been enjoying the content that I've been putting out on Facebook. I know I haven't uploaded to YouTube here in a little while, and I've had a lot going on. I don't want to use this platform to talk about my personal life because just over time I kind of decided I wasn't comfortable doing that, and I had a little bit of a change of heart from where I first started out with. But I do think that there's certain things that are important to talk about, and some of them might even be relevant. Now, this sort of sad thing is I avoid talking about things so much now, and I think it's just part of my path and part of my karma as someone who has a 12th house sun. I feel like I've learned not to make myself vulnerable, especially in big platforms like this. So, yeah, there's a lot I just don't talk about anymore. And I'm sure if you've been watching my channel, you've caught on to that. You've caught on to the fact that I've pretty much stopped sharing things. And I hope that doesn't make anyone feel betrayed. Like, I know I'm like using the most dramatic word ever because I'm a Leo. I hope it doesn't make you feel betrayed that I have not been sharing things from my personal life, and I've had like a certain degree of guilt over that. But what I want to talk about today is what's been happening in my own path, and I have been forced in the direction of being an astrologer and a tarot reader, and pretty much only, professionally at least, an astrologer and a tarot reader, whether I like it or not. My, I guess, destiny was so clear that this is the career that I was meant for, and I have a duty to help people as best as I can. So, yeah, that's what it is. For better or for worse. And I love doing it. It makes me feel like I have a purpose, and it makes me feel good to be able to focus on what's going on in someone else's life, and root for them and see them succeed. And it is hard to be there when there's bad news, but I just hope that I can always encourage people to move on to their brighter days and to use their unique talents and gifts to get them through life, because I have to do the same thing for myself over here in my personal life. I have to roll with the punches just like everyone else does. And if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I was pretty into boxing and other martial arts as well. I was actually doing that daily. And that was something I had started to get opportunities to teach classes. And I was considering doing that professionally. I was actually really hoping to do that professionally. I was very invested in it. And it's not that I don't like astrology, it's just that it just made me feel so good to be able to do all of the martial arts and all of the exercising and everything, and competing and trying to be the best version of myself that I could. It just made me feel so good. But in 2018, I was involved in a car accident. I was specifically rear-ended, and I was really hoping that I would just be able to brush it off, take a couple weeks off, and then come back. And, now we're in January of 2022 as I'm recording this video, and that has not happened. I have not been able to return to martial arts, and the car accident has actually made my regular daily life more difficult in a lot of ways. And, like I said, I wasn't able to do boxing and jiu-jitsu anymore at all, really. I could explain to people how to throw proper punches and all of that, but I couldn't do any of it, and I couldn't do my training anymore. So emotionally, that was very hard for me to accept, and I've been making the best of it. I've been focusing on the things that I can do as much as possible and just trying to accept that reality. So mostly I have neck pain and I have back pain and I have some limited mobility due to those things and some other complications that kind of started to rear their ugly head more and more over time. Over the past couple of weeks, I got to a point where the pain on the left side of my back got so bad that I have barely been able to use my left arm. And that was incredibly difficult because I didn't realize how many things I used my left arm for and how consistently I used it all throughout the day. Things that I formerly thought took only one hand to do were actually things that I would normally use two hands for. So gosh, I was shook by what happened, and I've been trying to accept it and, find ways to live like that. And the reality of it is I never know how much worse it's going to be. At the time of the accident, I was incredibly fit. I was running 4 miles every day. I was doing 100 push-ups. I was doing 100 sit-ups. I would try to do 50 modified pull-ups every day. I've always struggled with pull-ups, so I was never really able to do a regular pull-up. And, after the accident, I tried to just go down on the floor and do my push-ups and my sit-ups, and I noticed my plank was completely crooked because my back was crooked, and then I could not do a single sit-up because I had lost part of the ability to engage my lower abdominals. So I want to find, a way to just emphasize that this is just part of my path and part of what it's because I'm meant to do astrology. It's because I'm not meant to be pursuing martial arts professionally, no matter how much I love it and no matter how much that breaks my heart. At least I love astrology as well. Astrology and martial arts were probably my two biggest obsessions. And in a way, they were competing for my time before the accident. And the accident basically meant that astrology won. And that's how we got to where I am today. And my main source of income ever since the car accident has been doing astrology and tarot readings. So if you want a reading, I have not been able to do a whole lot of readings lately, partially because I've been trying to figure out, how to just get through my daily life with what's been going on. But if you enjoy my content and you want to support me on my path in a financial way, you can go to my Patreon. And if you want to support me in just a casual social way, just like, comment, share, do all the normal things. Do what you feel like doing. Do what you want to do. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about my career path in this video as well, if I have time to do that, and if you're still watching. So when I was 19, I completed basic emergency medical training. So basically I was going for my EMTB and striving to work on an ambulance. And at the time I started studying astrology, I was also studying for the NREMT, which I was struggling to pass. But I was apparently a great astrologer, and I had people hitting me up about that, both asking to work with me. I had a couple different people who were asking to work with me and asking me for readings, and it wasn't long before I started actually getting opportunities to make money with astrology. So even though the NREMT was apparently too hard for me, I took it 2 or 3 times and I failed every single time. I was able to pursue astrology. And you might have heard me mention a few years ago that I was again testing to get into the local firefighter program here. I was again trying to pursue that, and I made it most of the way through I forget what they call it, the recruitment, I guess. I made it most of the way through, and then they just decided I wasn't for that. So, again, even though that was something I was interested in, it just wasn't the open path for me. And it wasn't what I was meant to use my gifts for, I suppose. And other than that, I also went to college for medical administration. And unfortunately, after I finished college, I graduated with a 4.0, but I could not get a decent job at all. My job opportunities and the offers I got with that were so bad. Like less than what I made when I was working at Walmart. I'm not kidding you. Less than what I made working at Walmart. And with having a kid, I just could not afford childcare and pay my bills and work that job. So unfortunately, even though I thought it was going to be lucrative, it really wasn't. But yeah, I have a background in emergency medicine and in healthcare administration, but I barely dipped my toes into working those jobs just because it wasn't the open path for me. And I think it's so interesting how our astrology charts will show that there's certain ways that we're good at making money, and for every single person it's different. Like I saw this meme, I guess, I think it was a TikTok, about a young woman who apparently, this is kind of gross, I'm sorry, I'm warning you, but apparently there's a young woman who sells her farts in a jar. Like the types of things people make money doing, sometimes it's something you would never expect, and it can seem so random and so outrageous, but we all have things we're good at. We all have things we're passionate about, things we feel inclined to do. And sometimes the things that we're good at and the things that we're passionate about, sometimes they're not even the same thing. And like when I first started martial arts, I was bad at it, super bad. Like I was one of the slowest students to catch on to techniques. And I think that's what made me better at teaching other people martial arts, because I knew all of the confusion that could potentially be going through their mind as someone is explaining a basic martial arts technique. I knew that. But anyway, our talents and our passions and the way we make money, a lot of times they're not the same thing. And when I do career readings with people, I kind of explain that from all angles. I look at it from all angles, and I try to give them advice about how they can make the money that they want, need, and deserve, how they can pursue their passion, and if there's some way they can potentially do all three of those things, using their talents, pursuing their passion, and making their money, maybe all with the same job. And I explain some of my ideas, but it's wild. It's really wild. And if you study astrology, you know the North Node shows some information about our life path. As I've been talking about in my moon sign series, the moon sign tells a lot about our life path and things we went through as a child and how it affects our purpose in the world as adults as well. And then we have Saturn, which is also about karma, lessons, things we are supposed to get good at in life. And so this is part of my story, and if you study astrology and you're interested in looking at my chart, I feature it in quite a few of my other videos about how to read charts. I used my own chart as an example, and you are always welcome to look at that there if you want to. And thank you for listening to me ramble, and I hope to, I'm not going to make any promises, but I'm trying to get back to my moon sign series. I'm hoping to do that soon. Okay. Take care, everyone. Bye.